Peppa Pig is supposed to be one of the funniest, most light-hearted cartoons for kids. But if you look closer, the show is filled with strange details, unexplained mysteries, and even a few creepy secrets that make absolutely no sense. Some of these moments are so bizarre that once you notice them, you'll never be able to watch Peppa Pig the same way again. From characters who might secretly be vampires, to food that somehow survives for decades underground, and even hints that some animals in Peppa's world are hiding dark intentions. This cartoon hides more mysteries than you'd expect. So grab your popcorn, because today we're diving into the strangest, weirdest, and funniest details hidden in the world of Peppa Pig. Another mystery hides in plain sight, and it involves one of the most dangerous characters in the show, Mr. Wolf. Now, if you've seen the episode The New House, you'll remember that Peppa and George are helping Daddy Pig build a home. Everything seems normal until the family who moves in is revealed. The new resident is none other than Mr. Wolf. At first it's funny, but then fans noticed something chilling. Mr. Wolf keeps asking questions about where Daddy Pig lives and what his house is made of. Doesn't that sound familiar? Of course it does. It's a direct reference to the famous fairy tale The Three Little Pigs, where the big bad wolf tries to eat the pig family. So does that mean Mr. Wolf secretly wants to eat Daddy Pig and his family? The clues say yes. In fact, some fans believe that's why Mr. Wolf later follows Peppa's family on a plane in the New York episode. Was he just traveling, or was he waiting for the right moment to strike? The show never confirms this, but one thing is certain: Mr. Wolf isn't just a friendly neighbor. He's a dangerous Easter egg hiding in plain sight. Now let's dig into a mystery from the past. Literally. In a time capsule episode, Madame Gazelle digs up a box that had been buried for over 20 years. Inside there are old objects from when Peppa's parents were kids. But the strangest thing inside the box: a carrot. Yes, a carrot that's been underground for 2 decades. And somehow it's still intact. Now in real life, vegetables don't last that long. A carrot would have rotted away years ago. But in the world of Peppa Pig, this carrot survived 2 decades and still looked recognizable. It's a funny detail, but also a creepy one. What kind of world allows food to stay fresh for decades? And speaking of things that shouldn't exist but somehow do, he's a potato who can fly. That's already strange enough, but the show never explains where his powers come from. Is he the result of a science experiment? Was he created by magic? Or is he simply a superhero who happens to be a vegetable? The fact that Super Potato exists raises even bigger questions. If magic or super science is real in Peppa's world, what other characters might have hidden powers? Could Grandpa Rabbit's strength or Madame Gazelle's vampire-like qualities actually be connected? We may never know, but Super Potato proves that Peppa Pig's world isn't as ordinary as it looks. Now let's talk about a smaller detail, but one that's still unexplained. Have you noticed Evie's cheek? Unlike the other characters, she has a little heart-shaped mark on her face. At first glance, it looks cute, like a small design to make her stand out. But here's the mystery: nobody in the show ever talks about it. It's just there. Fans have wondered where this mark came from. Is it a genetic trait passed down from a relative we've never met? Is it connected to Great Eve, a distant relative of Mummy Pig, who's been mentioned before? Or is it simply a random artistic decision by the creators to make Evie unique? Whatever the case, the heart-shaped cheek raises one big question. Why is she the only one who has this kind of special feature? Could it be hinting at something bigger in Peppa's family tree? Now let's talk about a running gag, but one that feels like it's hiding a message. Peppa's school roof is always broken. It gets repaired multiple times, but somehow it keeps falling apart. At one point, Mummy Pig even went skydiving to raise money for the repairs. Later, Daddy Pig had to run a marathon. And yet, despite all these efforts, the roof never stays fixed. Some fans think this is just a silly joke, but others believe it's a subtle message about adults constantly failing their responsibilities. Either way, it's strange that one building in town is permanently broken. And if you thought that was weird, wait until you hear about Madame Gazelle's glitter safe. Here's another bizarre moment involving Madame Gazelle. She keeps her glitter locked up in a giant safe. That's right, glitter, the same stuff kids use for arts and crafts. She claims it's because glitter causes chaos, and she doesn't want the children making a mess. But really, locking it in a safe, that's extreme. Some fans think this connects back to the vampire theory. Maybe glitter is dangerous to her, like sunlight. Others think she's just obsessive. But one thing's for sure: locking craft supplies in a bank vault is definitely one of the strangest things in the series. At the end of so many episodes, the characters suddenly fall to the ground and start laughing. It looks silly, but when you think about it, it makes no sense. Why would grown adults collapse onto the floor over a simple joke? It gets even weirder when injured characters do it. For example, in the episode Christmas at the Hospital, Mr. Bull is on crutches with a broken leg. But at the end of the story, he throws himself on the ground laughing along with everyone else. That's not just unrealistic, it's dangerous. So is this just cartoon logic, or is there something in Peppa's world that causes characters to collapse when they're happy? Nobody knows, but it remains one of the strangest unexplained traditions in the series. If you thought Madame Gazelle was strange, wait until you hear about Grandpa Rabbit. In the episode Sea Treasure, Peppa and George find a letter in a bottle. When they call the number written inside, Grandpa Rabbit answers and says he wrote the letter over 100 years ago. Hold on, that would make him more than a century old. But instead of being weak or fragile, Grandpa Rabbit is incredibly strong. He leads gym classes, builds giant machines, and even goes into space in his very own rocket. And that's another mystery. Why does Grandpa Rabbit have a rocket at all? Rockets aren't just lying around. They're expensive, dangerous, and tightly controlled by governments. So how is Grandpa Rabbit blasting off into space like it's no big deal? Some fans think this proves Grandpa Rabbit is either secretly Super Rabbit or hiding enormous wealth. Either way, it doesn't add up. Some details in Peppa Pig aren't just small, they're impossible. Take Madame Gazelle's house, for example. In one episode, the pig family goes to visit her, but the second they walk inside, Peppa starts sliding downhill, almost like the entire house is tilted to the right. Weird, but okay, maybe the house was built on a slope. But here's the problem. Later in the same episode, the characters walk into another room, and now they're sliding uphill, as if the house is tilted in the opposite direction. How can a single house tilt in two directions at once? It's physically impossible. And it gets stranger. Madame Gazelle herself has long been a subject of fan theories. Some believe she's a vampire, because she never seems to age, and she has been around since Peppa's parents were children. Combine that with her creepy house physics, and you can see why fans think she's hiding a dark secret. Finally, let's end with a mystery that's been overlooked for years. There's an episode where Daddy Pig joins the dad's soccer team. It includes Mr. Zebra, Mr. Pony, Mr. Rabbit, and Mr. Bull. But here's the strange part. All the other members have kids who are Peppa's friends, except for Mr. Bull. He has never been shown as the father of any child. This led fans to create a theory that Mr. Bull is secretly the father of Claire Cow, a background character who isn't directly tied to the main families. But since the show never confirms this, the mystery remains unsolved. Why is Mr. Bull part of the dad's soccer team if he has no kids? The show doesn't say, leaving us with yet another strange, unanswered question. So what does all of this mean? Peppa Pig might look like a harmless, cheerful cartoon, but when you dig a little deeper, the show is filled with strange mysteries, impossible details, and hidden jokes that make no sense at all. From vampires and secret wolves to century-old rabbits and flying potatoes, Peppa's world is way stranger than most people realize. And here's the craziest part. These are just the mysteries we've already found. Who knows how many more are hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. So let me ask you, which of these Peppa Pig mysteries shocked you the most? Do you think Madame Gazelle is really a vampire? Or does Mr. Wolf secretly want to eat Daddy Pig? Drop your theories in the comments because I'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget, we've got more videos that dive into the strangest moments in cartoons. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one.